With wins in 12 of their first 13 games before the pandemic hit last season, Flowery Branch was off to the best 13-game start in school history. The Falcons entered the 2021 season at number 20 in the PBR Georgia Power 25. I'm Cory McCartney, along with PBR Georgia Scouting Director Phil Kerber, and we're joined by Flowery Branch coach Joey Ray. Joey, thanks for the time.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, Joey, I'm going to hop right into things. Like Cory said, you guys started 12-1 last year, and you had all this momentum. It seemed like you guys were the favorite to win the 4A state championship, and then the season gets shut down. What was all the feeling like at that time?
Well, it was a feeling that was shared by everybody across the country. We weren't unique. It was a lot of great teams and a lot of great talent that was, their careers were cut short, or that the amazing seasons were cut short. But it definitely hurt. I think the thing that I keep looking back to, it's not the talent or the rankings or our record, but it was really a special group of kids. Just a really special group of kids to be around, man. They're just a lot of fun. They were enjoyable, quality kids, great students, great people. We do a lot of time with community service and stuff. So the hardest part was just letting go of a group that just truly cared about each other and loved being around each other at practice, games, locker room. They worked on their own in the off season when I wasn't allowed to be with them. So the hardest part was just knowing that a special group that had worked really hard wasn't going to get a chance to end their careers and that specific season on the field.
But as we look ahead to 2021, 9 starters back on this squad. Who's that bat, though, that really makes things go for your team?
Yeah, I don't think we really have a specific guy. I think one of the things that made us successful last year was that we were so deep, 1 through 9. We didn't really have a true 4-hole guy. We had a lineup that was just going to put pressure on you. Tough to get an out. We really cut down our strikeouts a lot in the last 3 years. It's been something we've really worked hard on, just trying to be competitive and put as much pressure on the defense as possible. But, the guy that's probably emerged and matured the most in the last few years was a young man that started for us as a freshman when my first year here 3 years ago, which is senior Kaleb Freeman. He's a switch hitter. He's got power from both sides of the plate, tremendously competitive. And like I said, he's matured and grown a lot. Weight room has been huge for him. And he can do so many things for us. Just, he can catch, play third, pitch a little bit. He definitely kind of helps stir the drink for sure.
What about from the pitching side of it? I mean, is there that guy that you feel like you're going to be leaning on as your true number one for the season?
Well, last year we had kind of 2 number ones and then a bunch of, really good complements to that. This year, I think it's kind of a similar situation. We have 2 young guys that are going to have to step in and fill the shoes of, 2 pretty good guys we lost. But, we try to really impress upon them that, they're not filling their shoes. All they can do is go out and compete to the best of their ability. But the 2 young men are junior lefty, Jake Bieber, who did a really, really good job for us as a freshman, kind of in a middle relief role, and just stepped up huge as a freshman and I think he pitched 7 innings in relief in a 14-inning ball game against Denmark. That was huge that year that Denmark went to the finals. And last year he ended up stepping in as our number 3. So this year he's kind of taken the place and kind of moved up to that number 1 role. But last year we started a freshman a few games, Mason Compton, who will be a sophomore this year. And he's a big, strong right-handed pitcher. He's, consistently mid 80s, but he's touched 87, for a 10th grader. Great kid, great competitor. Those 2 guys will definitely anchor our staff. And then from there, we've got a senior who's played for us for the last 3 years as well, and Austin Hatcher, a big, strong right-hander as well. We're going to be counting on him to fill that 3 spot. And then from there, we're just going to have to kind of piece it together and see if some young guys can step up and emerge and help the ball club.
Joe, you've got all this talent coming back, and you just touched on some young guys stepping up. Who is a newcomer we should be keeping an eye on?
Oh, that's a great question. We got a lot of good young players. One kid that he actually played a lot for us as a freshman last year. So I wouldn't say he's necessarily a newcomer, but only playing, I think he maybe played in 11 or 12 of 13 games last year as a freshman, is Cade Smallwood, who's a sophomore right now. Another Nick Lankowski started for us last year as a sophomore. Again, only 12 games, so they're technically established, but newcomers. Most of what we have right now are primarily returners. They're just going to be guys that got some time last year and then we'll kind of be emerging into a more consistent role. We got two young, well, not really young, but a sophomore and a junior catcher that's going to be competing to catch when Freeman's pitching or playing third, and that's Connor Edwards and Aaron Attaway. Connor's the junior and Attaway's the sophomore, and we're looking for big things out of both of those guys. We have a 10th grader who's tremendously athletic. I mean, he's got Division I athleticism. We're just trying to train him and coach him up to get the most out of him at a young age. There's so much pressure on kids today to be a Division I talent in high school instead of saying, hey, let's let the thing kind of play out and be a Division I player when you get to college. But he's got huge talent. Max Eubanks, the 10th grade outfielder, and he may pitch a little bit for us as well. And one of the fastest kids I've coached, and really, really good athleticism and talent that we're hoping that we can coach him up to be a big part of what we're doing this year.
You had mentioned losing some high-end arms. Obviously, Andrew Armstrong at Florida State, Xander Sechrist at Tennessee. Is pitching depth the biggest X factor in this team having a successful season?
I think it's the X factor in any team. I mean, my state championship year 2013, I think our team batting average was 238, but we could absolutely pitch and play defense. And I think in high school, if you don't have a stable of arms to run out there, it really doesn't matter how well you hit if you can't get out. So I think that's definitely been something that we've put a big priority on this year in our program is finding and developing arms. We're even giving some freshmen and sophomores chances this year that we might not normally do on the mound at a young age, but there are opportunities to be had. And anybody that we think, regardless of velocity, right-handed, left-handed, none of that stuff matters. If you're willing to compete and get up there and battle, let our defense, which I think is as good as any team I've coached, just give those guys a chance to do what they do, and we have a chance to be successful.
All right, Coach, let's take a step back to look at the bigger picture. In your mind, who are the most dangerous teams in Class 4A?
I think it's most of them come in our region. We've kind of been in that region the last couple of years where I feel like the Final Four could be all four of our teams. I don't know that's going to be a lot different this year. North Oconee looks very strong. Both their offensive and defensive lineups and their pitching would be as good as anywhere in the state. Jefferson is so well coached and they have such a great culture and community up there, the way they groom kids and they rally around that community and that program. They're just traditionally really strong program. Marist is still in there with us, and then there's some teams outside the metro area that we aren't historically familiar with that we have no doubt are as good as anybody in our region as well. So it's definitely going to be just as difficult as it was when we were in 5A a few years ago to be successful, even though we're now in 4A.
And changing gears a little bit, you've had some experience with Team USA in the past. Do you mind speaking about that a little bit, or what that experience was like and how you've taken that and brought it over to Flowery Branch?
Yeah, I tell you, I've done a lot of different things for them, from national team identification, national open. I was fortunate enough to be a part of a national team staff in 2016. We went to the Copabe tournament down in Pan American Championships down in Mexico, and getting to be a part of that was pretty special. And then most recently, for the last 3 years, I've been a part of the player development pipeline with Major League Baseball and USA Baseball, and getting to see an array of talent. Not just, we're so blessed in Georgia to have so many amazing, talented ball players in the state of Georgia. And honestly, I think it could have, one of the most talented states in the country, despite the fact that, California, Texas, and, Florida probably have more ball players, but the talent level here is huge. But it just gave me an opportunity to see kids outside of our kind of little bubble here, and how many quality people, how many quality ball players and talented ball players there are all over the country. And it just gave me a really, good appreciation for, what we have here, how lucky we are here in Georgia to have great players, but also just the respect and admiration for coaches all over the country that, maybe don't have a chance to coach at a national team level, but they're still really talented and they produce really good players. We're just really fortunate to have coaches all over the country that work hard, do the right things, develop players. And it's just pretty neat to have, been a part of that system where, you get to meet a lot of coaches that have been involved in this. And it's an amazing fraternity of guys that are willing to help each other. I've I've actually scheduled games against many of the coaches I've met along the way in Florida and Alabama, and it's a pretty neat fraternity to be a part of. And like I said, the people I've met, from scouts, college coaches, high school coaches, it's pretty special, and I'm very thankful for that. And it's really neat also to follow some of these kids that I've coached, at 12, 13, 14 years old, all the way up now. They're all juniors and seniors in high school now, and they're committing to Arizona and, Oregon and, Florida State and all these, places all over the country, and just kind of following their careers. It's pretty awesome.
Well, Coach, thank you so much for joining us. And after the success of last season, wishing you and the Falcons nothing but the best in 2021.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.